I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. It. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks.
Yeah, it does, Bill. All right. Welcome in. It's the Daily Puck Drop. It is your daily sports podcast that tries to entertain you. And then I just realized I've got the wrong rundown up. No, I don't. No, I do. I've got the right rundown up. God, I'm an idiot. Maybe I should start drinking early. Coffee's not going to cut it anymore in the morning. I'm going to tell you that. We got James Moore. You know him, the go-to guy. He's coming up shortly. He's written a whole column on why he hates the NFL. Interesting take to have on the country's most popular sport, but we'll get to that. You want to get people to subscribe to Jim Moore, the go-to guy.substack.com. Why don't you write an article shitting on America's favorite sport? That'll get people to sign up. We're going to get to that momentarily. The Seahawks playoff push. Mariners winter meetings. We're going to play a clip. Ryan Divish inside pitch for Puck's Posse members will be available shortly. Getting the update on the winter meetings that start next week in lovely Orlando. Never been to Orlando. Never had a desire to go to Orlando. I'm sure Jim has been there. Maybe he can speak highly of it. I don't know. Inside the bloody trenches with Rob Staton. That will be coming up later in the program as well. We'll recap of what the Seahawks did last week and the concern meter of one Sam Darnold. Of course, we come via the Limback Lumber Studios. Without the support of Limback Lumber, that beautiful sign right behind me, we could not do this. I mean, award-winning show every single day without the support of Limback Lumber. And let them help you out. Give them a call at 206-782-3487. They're going to help you with all your lumber needs. You got a project that you'd like to build, a back deck, maybe a new fence, something for the house. Let a company that's been doing it since 1930 help you out. When you actually go to Limback Lumber to ask for help, there's someone there that's knowledgeable. Not like one of these places, you know, with the orange vests, those people, they have no idea. You go walk around there and ask them, they have no idea what they're doing. They're just there. Nor do they have any understanding of your lumber needs. So Limback Lumber is the spot for you. You can email them or reach the website as well at limbacklumber.com. You can reach me on social media, Puck Sports everywhere except for TikTok, which is Puck_sports. And also find everything that we do at pucksports.com, including signing up to be a Puck's Posse member. You support everything that we do here daily for the Daily Puck Drop and Puck Sports, all the free content. Plus, we give you bonus shows every single week, like Inside Pitch with Ryan Divish. That will be out later today. We'll give you a little sneak peek of it coming up in today's show. Also, Thursdays with Mitch, KJ Arntz with Mitch Levy. There, when you sign up and get $5, I don't believe you're going to find a podcast where we shit on the NFL. Jim Moore joins
God, you're
us.
such a dick. You know, when they talk about being taken out of context, that's a classic case of being taken out of context, because I started that column that appeared in the News Tribune yesterday, and then I put it on my Substack today. I said how much we all love the NFL. And there were games that made us love the NFL even more this last weekend, such as the Sunday night game with, and I always get it mixed up. Is it Mariota or Mariota? Do you know?
Because wasn't Collinsworth getting criticized for how he said it? Hold on.
Is it Mare or is it Mar?
I say Marcus Mariota.
That sounded kind of in between.
It did, didn't it? Mariota.
Yeah.
Mariota.
I think it's Mare.
Mariota.
But anyway, backup quarterback for the Commanders. He was terrific Sunday night. That overtime game, and to almost beat the Broncos. The Broncos had an 8-game winning streak, and the Commanders a 6-game losing streak.
Oh,
and
thanks.
yet
We
the
all
NFL is
watched
so
the game.
unpredictable.
I understand how the game went.
Okay, and then I just kind of, if you want to, using your terms, I shit on the NFL just on some things that I don't like about it. And it occurred to me on what was it, Friday, when the Eagles were playing the Bears. And what I hate about the analytics people, and I don't, it's not sports hate, it's not dislike, it's actual hate of these people. because they talk down to people like me. And I hate condescension. Anybody who's condescending to me, just like fuck right off. I don't want to hear it. I don't want, you might be right, but don't talk down to me. These people that seem to think like when the Eagles scored a touchdown, it was clear to everyone in the world that they should have gone for the PAT to be 8 points behind with 3 minutes to go. And the Eagles weren't moving the ball at all that whole game. And to think that they're going to get 2 possessions if they fall behind by 9 and going for 2 and not making it was ludicrous. And yet all those people, the nerds out there, the analytical people, they think they're so smart. And the people in the other camp are so stupid. Well, I contend that I went to first grade and I learned that 8 is a smaller number than 9. And when you have 9 and you're behind by 9, you can't score 9 points in the NFL on one possession. So I just started thinking about other things that bother me with the NFL. And so, yeah, I went from there. The other one that really bugs me is when the ball goes out of the end zone, the team fumbles, and then the other team gets the ball at the 20-yard line. Whereas anywhere else on the field, if the offense fumbles it out of bounds, they get the ball where it went out of bounds. I don't understand that. Never have. Anyway, so that was me shitting on the NFL, I guess.
You want to read why he hates the NFL?
No, the analytical people I hate.
The go-to guy.substack.com. Or I guess you could be a subscriber to the Tacoma News Tribune, which we love. We love the News Tribune. We love John Manley. The Tacoma News Tribune does a wonderful job covering
Greg Bell covering the Seahawks.
Greg Bell. Are those the only 2 people working in sports there anymore?
Pretty much.
I think they are. I think those are the only 2. What a legacy that paper had, though. I mean, that's Mike Sando. That's John Clayton. Mike Kahn. I don't know. There might be some people that don't remember Mike Kahn, but Mike Kahn was the original, started the first .com sports website. He was part of CBSSports.com that kind of revolutionized the way that we cover sports.
He covered the Sonics for the News Tribune when I was covering it for the PI, so I got to know Mike really well.
But the best one was Frank Hughes, who covered the Sonics for the Tacoma News Tribune. I mean, there was just a great list of sports writers.
Dave Bowling and John McGrath.
John McGrath. I mean, just the heavyweights of the newspaper industry. So if you can't go support the Tacoma News Tribune, here's the thing about your NFL article. The hate article for the NFL, despite billions of people loving the sport.
No, the hate for the analysts, the analytical analysts. I don't hate the NFL. I bet on damn near every game. I love the NFL.
I agree with everything that you said. Everything.
Oh, really?
Everything.
There wasn't one thing with one of those points.
There was everything. There wasn't one thing I disagreed with. All of it. Except for maybe the tush push, but whatever. I don't really.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like a football play to me.
Yeah, I get it. I'm not gonna. Here's the deal with the tush. I'm not gonna fight you over it. But yeah, whatever.
Okay.
All right, hey, listen, we can't have this type of hard-hitting commentary that you just opened up this show with. That was great, by the way. A lot of people agree with you. Without the support and love from 3 unbelievable sponsors that have all agreed to hitch their wagon onto you.
That's right. First of all, Brad Brotherton from Brotherton Cadillac and Shoreline, Brotherton Cadillac and Brotherton Buick GMC in Renton. Family-owned dealership with deep roots in the community. Brotherton is more than just a place to buy a car. They'll be your automotive partner for life, committed to exceeding your expectations. Get your wife a new car. Get your husband a new truck. Whatever. Do it with BrothertonAuto.com. You know what's going on tonight at the Angry Beaver? It's trivia night with Geeks Who Drink. Have you heard of anything about that? Apparently, Matt Baker, who owns the Angry Beaver, told me that anyone who's into trivia knows about this group called Geeks Who Drink, and they run the trivia contest tonight at the Angry Beaver. Yeah, you can find them online if you want. Geeks
All right,
Who Drink.
I'm in. Geeks with Drinks. I love trivia, by the way.
Yeah. Are you good at it?
Not really.
I'm not good at it either. But, maybe we should go to the Angry Beaver and get better at it.
You should tell Matt he should start a bingo night. I love bingo. Who doesn't love bingo?
Well, you're turning 50 on Friday, but I think bingo starts when you're 60. So you might want to wait on that a little bit.
No, I've been playing bingo for like 20 years. I love bingo.
Do you?
Yeah, love it.
Which do you like best? Just the regular bingo, four corners, blackout?
I don't enjoy blackout because it goes too fast, and then if you're drinking, you forget what's going on. I just like the normal bingo. I don't like all the different games now in bingo. I just want the normal one. I prefer the normal one.
Where do you play?
The Ballard Elks. Ballard Elks has got.
And are you the youngest person there?
No, the Ballard Elks is like. I'm like one of the older people there.
Really?
Oh yeah. Ballard Elks is probably like 35 to 40.
35 to 40. Okay.
That's the greatest Elks in the country is the Ballard Elks.
I'll bet the drinks you get stiff pours there.
You do. Yes. And it used to be cheaper. Now it's starting to get up a little bit more, but yeah, you get a good 4.5 finger pour. It's a real heavy one.
Have you noticed how drinks have gotten into the teens now? It's like it crept up there for a while, 8, 9, 10,
yeah,
12.
They're not there yet. But, yeah, I mean, it gets up there.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. All right, I got one more sponsor to thank.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I saw my neighbor out there with an extension ladder. And you know what he was doing? He was putting up Christmas lights. And I went over and I said, you know what? There's this company up in Seattle. You should know about this. Bright Owl Lighting. With Brian Turner. He could do the job for you right now. And I said, listen, John, I've got a rule that I follow that you should follow. And I know that John just turned 60 years old. Anyone who's 60 or older should not get on a damn ladder. And I told him that.
I agree.
You know why, Puck? Because you could die. You could die falling off that ladder. All right. Yeah. So don't do it. Call Bright Owl Lighting. You got to call them at 360-675-2034. Or visit brightowllighting.com. There's still time to have them give you a free estimate and put the Christmas lights up for you. I know Puck has had it done 2 years in a row. Satisfied customer at brightowllighting.com.
I have so many people that walk by my house or text me. They said that they've driven by the palatial Ballard Mansion, have said, hey, who did your lights? Which I take great offense to because it's immediately they assume I didn't do the lights. Which I don't appreciate.
Do they know that you're not handy? And I, that's one thing I appreciate about you. There's not many, but that's one thing I do appreciate about you.
Because
handy? I'm not handy at all. Like you let Kaisa do stuff around the house.
She does everything.
The same thing with Kathy. Yeah.
I told her a few weeks ago, hey, I want to build underneath our deck. I want to build some like a storage. It's, underneath the deck. So we can put a bunch of stuff because right now it's just dirt underneath there, and we're kind of storing everything under there, and it gets wet, and it's sitting on dirt. I said, I could build like a little storage unit under there. She looked at me and goes, "Yeah, okay." I'm like,
you mean I will build a little?
Because that's what she's saying. Yeah, you're gonna start it, you stupid son of a bitch, and then I'm gonna have to finish it, and then you're gonna get mad that I haven't finished it yet, and all that is true, which I don't appreciate. Here's what I want. Is there like a guy class I can take?
Well, don't you feel like as a man that we should be handier around the house?
Yes, of course.
I do, especially because I'm the son of a building contractor. I mean, my dad built actual homes.
Yeah, you don't have an excuse like that. You should have learned that.
I don't. Yeah, I don't.
I take offense to when people say, who did your lights? And they just immediately assume that I didn't do them. I don't like that. I would just like, hey, you did a good job in your lights. And then I would say, no, I didn't do them. But when you just jump right in that, hey, who did your lights? I'm like, F you. I mean, come on. But you're right. And it's perfect. And the way it looks, you would know that I didn't do the lights. So I'm going to tell Brian Turner at Bright Owl Lighting needs to hire a few more people and expand the empire that he's built up there in Skagit County, and that now dips a little bit down into King County and does some houses. Because I'm telling him right now, next year, Brian Turner comes out to do the lights. Hopefully he does again. He can do my entire neighborhood. The entire neighborhood. It's just every day someone walks by. And who did the lights? Well, Bright Owl Lighting. Do they come down here? Not really. But I can call them if you'd like. See if they'll do it. No, don't do that. Don't do that. I don't want to put them out. I'm like, well, I will. If you want me to, I'll call him. So, Brian, time to expand the empire.
I think he's willing to do that depending on the size of the project. So he will come down to King County.
Well, I just think he got to bust it. He could come down here in Ballard in our little neighborhood, our block, and he could hammer out 10 houses.
Yeah, just
Perfect.
Make a day out of it or 2 days out of it.
So, yeah, I agreed with everything you wrote about the NFL. For people who have not read it, it's at the News Tribune. It's at Jim Moore, the go-to guy.substack.com. You go through the whole list of reasons why the NFL pisses you off. First, you start with the analytics, and we go back to the Eagles and Bears game. That was number one. You hate the dynamic.
You're with that one, though?
Well, yeah, it's dumb. And these people, I mean, I'm still trying to figure out what they were arguing. What are you arguing? You're down 9.
It's more information versus less information is what they say.
It still made no sense to go for 2. 0 cents. And they just, but that's the thing. If you don't, you're right. Because if you don't understand it, Greg Olson, if you don't understand it, you're just an idiot. Yeah, no, I understand it. It doesn't make sense. Like Greg Olson, and I didn't really have this issue with Greg Olson until everyone kind of started pointing it out. Now I'm on the I don't like Greg Olson train. Like I'm on it now. I'm the first one in. I'm the first in line, and I'm sitting in first class of F you, Greg Olson. Because if I have to listen to another game where he bitches and moans about a team kicking a field goal, I'm out. Like, he never wants to kick a field goal, ever. There was even a time, I think it was the Seahawks game. It was 4th and 8. And they were like the 35 or something. 34. And he's like, yeah, it's a little too long for me here to go for it. I'm like, it's 4th and 8, Greg. What are you talking about? Like the fact that he even was hemming and hawing on whether or not the team should have gone for him. Like, you're an idiot. Like, you really are kind of an idiot. But like this hate for field goals, that bothers me, which then takes me to your second point which you hate about the NFL. And I agree with you, and I didn't really think about it, and I want to know when it started, because I know it's been around for a while. But why do these kickers get to use a different ball to kick?
Well, I thought it was like a completely different ball, but I read up on it a little bit. It sounds like they get the same kind of ball that they use in actual play,
sure,
but they're able to brush it and cushion it and probably inflate it to wherever they want it. They're doing all these and then they're able to have their own, so to speak, balls.
Yeah,
right?
For those who don't, I think a lot of people understand this, but they're not using the actual game ball to kick the field goal.
It's a ball they've been using all week in practice and brushing up, and it's basically tailor-made for the kicker.
So tell me why Tom Brady got suspended again. Because isn't that what Tom Brady did?
I think so.
Didn't Tom Brady get a football to his liking, how he liked it brushed and smoothed out and inflated a certain way? But yeah, didn't we suspend this guy like 4 games for that?
Yeah, we did.
But we're letting dipstick kickers that do whatever they want?
Yeah, I like long field goals. I loved it when Jason Hansen kicked for the Cougs, because anytime we got near midfield, I knew that 3 points was just about guaranteed.
But I think we've gone ever.
I think we've gone a little too far with these 60-plus yard field goals. And as a case in point, Tom Dempsey held the record, 63 yards. He kicked it in 1970. It wasn't broken until 2013. And now 60-yard field goals. I mean, once a team gets to midfield, I mean, the Dallas kicker, he can kick it from anywhere, and all these guys are doing it. So it just seemed like
is it the ball?
It seemed like there should be an asterisk maybe put on these records now for kickers. But.
Well, is it the ball, or is it the kickers are just better? I mean,
probably a little of both.
Do you know how long they've been using the separate ball? And I know I could probably look this up, but
this year. This is the first year.
This is the first year they've used the separate ball?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm saying that like I'm 100% sure, but I'm
you're not sure. Are you?
You know what's cool? You know what I think is cool? And I'm old enough to remember this, you're not. But the NFL used to have the goalposts on the goal line.
Yeah, I think that was a wise move to move them.
So when Dempsey kicked his 63-yarder, it was from his own 37-yard line.
Yeah.
So the line of scrimmage was he played for the Saints at the time. Was the Saints 44-yard line.
And he
was a straight-on kicker that had a stub foot, by the way.
Yeah, stub. I was going to say stub foot. The NFL has been using separate balls for kicking, including field goals, since 1999.
Oh, so I was wrong?
It's amazing. It's amazing that you were wrong because
Hey,
normally
I was
you
within,
are.
wait, I was within 26 years, though.
You normally nail this stuff.
Yeah.
But
Well,
again, I knew it had been around, but I didn't know it had been around since 1999. But I have always wondered it though. Like, why do they get to use a separate ball? Do the punters use a separate ball too, or is it just
I don't
the
know
kickers?
that.
Okay.
I don't know that.
Okay, so I agree with you on that one. We agree on the analytics. That yes, 100% on the kickoff. I just it looks so stupid. It's so dumb. And I hate how we're going to prevent injuries. You know what? If you want to prevent injuries on the kickoffs, then don't play football. Go work someplace else. I like the kickoffs. I like guys getting potentially hurt on the kickoffs. Sorry, I like guys getting blindsided on them. I think it's fun. It's the appeal to the game. It makes it entertaining.
It's the vicious hits. That's part of the reason we love the NFL.
Of
And
course.
Wyman, the guy I used to work with, he always talked about it. He was always like, hey, man, we know what we signed up for. We know it's potentially, we could be paralyzed. We know all of these things. We're taking that into account when we sign up for it.
Yeah.
And like the other night when Jackson Dart got hit when he was going out of bounds and everybody made such a big deal out of that. I appreciated that Jackson Dart was like, hey, man, that's football.
Well, it was a legal hit. I don't know
Yeah,
why
it
people
was.
slipped out. Like, it was a legal hit. He was running and got his shit kicked out of him.
Yeah.
That's why you like football, because it's
Right.
fun. And here's the other thing I don't like about the kickoffs. I hate this whole, like, now I've got to – the bullshit of I've got to designate when I'm going to have an onside kick. That's dumb.
Yeah.
It's just stupid. That robs us of what was one of the greatest plays in Super Bowl history.
Yeah.
When Sean
Starting the
Payton,
second half.
unbelievable. No one's going to expect it. Sean Payton lines up for the onside kick. Here's the other thing. I'll take it one step further with the why we hate the NFL. And this can be the title of the show. The only two people in America that hate the NFL. Is I liked when you could overload one side of the field. Why can't we do that anymore? Remember that? You know, you could put like everybody over on one side and be like, we're kicking the onside. We're going to get it. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's the element of surprise is taken away.
Of course.
I just and those guys all just standing there like statues until the ball reaches and you have to hit the landing zone.
Oh, that's the other part, the landing zone. Shut up. Dumb.
I'm so glad that college football has retained the normal kickoff that we know and love.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that one. And then I wish the NFL would, I mean, we've been screaming this forever, a lot of us. I wish the NFL would do the overtime that college football does. It's more exciting. Just is.
Yeah, it
way
is.
more exciting. Move it back. If you don't want it to 25, move it back to the 30 or to the 35. What else was on there? I'm blanking on.
Okay. One of the new ones that I just saw for the first time in the Texans Colts game. There was a key play where it was 4th and half a yard. And it looked like the Texans may or may not have picked it up. And so you're going, oh, man, this in the past, it would have been, okay, here come the guys out, the chain gang coming out.
Kind of fat.
It looks like the referee might even have to get down on one knee to see how close it is. And instead, we get this cartoon that shows you that they didn't make it. And it just takes the suspense out of it. Get the digital animated bullshit off my TV, okay? I want the guys in the stripes coming out there.
Agreed, because there's nothing more agonizing than that 2 or 3 seconds before they measure when they put the ball down. One ref is kneeling down on the ground to hold the ball. The other guy is pulling the chain out. You're like, and everyone's kind of like a half moon around the ball, and everyone's waiting for that chain to go down. Like, come on, man. Don't go too far. It puts it down. You're like, yeah. And everyone celebrates. You don't get that with the animation.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I'm and that one time where Gene Steratore had to use the card to see. I just like a little human element with my sports. It's why I'm gonna hate baseball next year. to a degree. I'm going to hate it. I'm going to absolutely hate it.
Can the catcher and the hitter challenge every pitch now? I forget. What are the rules going to be?
I can't remember how many they can challenge. Do they get 3? Yeah, but it's just going to be annoying. It's going to annoy the shit out of me. I like missed calls. I like umpires having different strike zones. I like umpires having a grudge against a certain pitcher and hitter. It makes it fun.
Yeah, it's taking the human element out. You know, guys like CB Buckner, who we love to hate. You know, you can't hate him anymore if it's computerized.
I just don't like having computers for everything. Okay. When I would coach in Little League, I know when we would get one particular umpire that I'm not going to name, I would tell our pitcher, just throw it in the dirt before it reaches home plate. He'll call it a strike.
He was that bad?
He was that bad. So I would tell them, don't aim over the plate. Aim for the front part of the plate. He'll call it a strike. And he would. And it was great.
Okay, so you got along with him pretty well after that.
Well, until our pitcher screwed up and threw it over the plate. I'm like, don't throw it over the plate. He won't call that a strike. But if it's 4 feet in front of the plate.
The only other stuff I brought up are things that have been brought up before. Like they should play the Super Bowl on a Saturday. That they already take 2 weeks off anyway, so I don't see why they couldn't do that. So people can have some time to recuperate. The one I really think they should change is you can have a better record. Like right now, if the playoffs started today, the Seahawks are 9-3. They were going to play. They have to play at Tampa Bay, which is 7-5. I think you let the division winners in, but some years the divisions suck, and so the division winner isn't that good. Why should the Seahawks have to go on the road if they finish 13-4 and face a Tampa Bay team that might be 9-8, but Tampa Bay was good enough to win the NFC South?
Well,
let Tampa Bay in, but make them come to Seattle is what I'm saying.
And I agree with you on that one. It robs you of the Beastquake. You don't have the Beastquake.
That's true. That is true.
I do agree with you. I don't think a division winner, especially if they play in a shitty division, like even that year for Seattle. Why should New Orleans have been punished? They had a better record.
No, it doesn't make sense. It's the same thing in the what is it?
And it will happen this year.
The AFC North right now. The Ravens are leading that division at 6-6. Whoever wins that division is going to be right around 500.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'll dance with you. I'll push back on the Super Bowl a little bit.
Because
here's why. Because I like tradition.
Okay.
See, Friday night is high school football. Saturday is college. And Sunday's always been the NFL.
Okay, but Saturday that time of year in February, there aren't any more college games.
I know, but I've been used to watching every Sunday NFL. And I like watching the Super Bowl on a Sunday. I like it where it's at. And you know what? No one's going to do anything on Monday anyways. No one goes. I mean, you don't go to work. These people, first of all, these people who go to these NFL games, Jim, have been over-serving themselves every Sunday anyway. So go and shit-face into work on Monday. No problemo for them. They're fine. They've been used to it all year long.
You went to the game Sunday. Did you see any of your favorite fans in the bathroom? You know which ones, right?
Sure. Oh, see. Hawks. Man, this line's so long. I'm just gonna pee in the thing.
Hey, you know what I miss from the old days at KJR?
You know what? I was bothered though by a lot of the fans at that stadium.
Why?
I just
too much drinking, too much trash talking.
No, not that. I don't like people that don't understand the history of the organization. It just bothers me to my core. Bothers me.
Such as
the guy was wearing a 32 jersey, right? Seahawks 32. And he's walking up the steps, and me and my buddy next to me who was going to the game, the Magnolia Belly, we like to call him. I said, let's see if he understands. Hey, is that John L? You wearing John L, man? He's like, what? You're wearing John L. Williams. Is that a John L jersey? Let me see it. I don't know what you're talking about. It's Ricky Waters. Like, you're a fucking idiot.
Ricky
Keep
Waters.
walking. Go up there to your seats. Get out of me. Get out of here. Like stuff like that. Come on, man.
But was he young? Was he younger?
He was like 40 something. He should know who John L. Williams. Can you just please understand the history of the team, please? If you're going to be the douche that buys a jersey, can you at least know that 32 was worn before Ricky Waters and it was worn by John L. Williams? Can you just at least, before you spend the $85 to look like an idiot being an adult in a jersey, can you just understand who played on the team? Please. Please.
But there's so many new people that have moved to Seattle, though.
You know what? Then you should learn,
because you're not a big fan of the 12s, but you like the 12th man.
We almost lost it on another guy. This guy's wearing a 12 jersey. Okay, fine. I like the 12 jersey.
Yeah.
I do. That the original, the 12th man. It's not the 12s. It's the 12th man. But instead of having I think it just says fan on the back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or the fan, or just fan. This douche wrote Lumen Field. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why would you do that? Why'd you put Lumen? It's not Lumen Field. It's for the fans. We almost threw him over the ledge at the 300. We almost threw him over. I was hoping.
And you're a tough crowd. You are a tough crowd.
I just, again, you're gonna.
Okay, let's say you move to Houston.
Yeah.
So would you be expected to know the history of the Texans and the Oilers so that some Texans fan wouldn't give you shit for not knowing the history of the team? If you went to a game?
I don't think Houston's a bad example because I don't care about the Texans. But if they were the Oilers, yeah, I'd learn the Oilers. I would. I would know what number Earl Campbell wore,
or Miami.
Warren Moon. Sure.
Yeah.
I would understand about all the great wide receivers that played there. Dan Marino, Bob Greasy. Yeah. I think they're remember when you come into the country like as an immigrant, when we allowed that to happen. And you go through the processing. The processing, you go to Ellis Island, right? You come onto Ellis Island, they put you through all that. When you move to a new city as a sports fan, you should go to something like that and have to pass a test to learn the sports history of said city you're moving to.
So somebody comes to Seattle and they have to go through a test like that. And so then they say to him, okay, tell me the significance of Jim Zorn. And then the person goes, oh, he's the all-city fence guy. No, he's not the all-city fence guy.
Yeah, he's not the all-city fence guy. He's the guy they put in the Ring of Honor that shouldn't be in the Ring of Honor. That's what I would say.
Come on. Really? Well, first of all, I'm going to say, is Zorn in the Ring of Honor? You're going to tell me, yes, he is. And that's something you should know, Jim, if you're going to be on a sports talk podcast.
He's in there.
Okay.
He's in there.
Number two, since I know that he's in there now for sure, you're saying that he doesn't deserve to be in the Ring of Honor?
I think
you weren't old enough to watch that first season in 76, were you? When the hell were you born?
Yeah. 75. So I don't remember.
So you were in the crib when Jim Zorn was running around?
I remember vaguely.
You're probably a whiny baby,
Still whiny now.
Needed to be breastfed by your mom every 3 hours, yeah. So that's what you were doing at the time when Jim Zorn was running around finding Largent?
I don't remember him. But I remember.
The perfect expansion team quarterback because you needed a guy that – and back then, the quarterbacks weren't known for being elusive. Yeah. And here was this lefty from Cal Poly Pomona.
Sure.
And he was sensational.
Hey, all that can be true. At the same time, standards are pretty low to put him in the Ring of Honor.
I will say this. It bothers me that he does all city fence ads.
Why does it bother you?
Because I'm just thinking if I'm ever like Jim Zorn, if I ever reach that level, like if you're really famous and you all of a sudden go, hey man, I could use an extra $1,000 this month or whatever. I think I'll do this all city fence ad. I just, just shoot me or something. I don't want to feel like I need money that badly. And that's probably a poor take, a cold take, whatever, but I don't want to hear Jim Zorn doing all city fence ads. I just don't. I want to think of Jim Zorn as running around back in 76, number 10, doing great things, not now as a fence spokesman. Okay. Is that all right?
Yeah, it's fine. Now, I do want to praise the one guy that was sitting in front of it. There was a couple of rows in front of us that was wearing. Now, this was a great jersey. This was there's a lot of people you can thank, and there's some others. There's another name that you could have on the back of, well, actually, no, he was 41. Never mind. That you could have on the back of this jersey. But I did appreciate there was a guy in a few rows in front of us that was wearing number 42. Chris fucking Warren. God, I loved Chris Warren.
Okay,
and he
I'm glad that you gave us the name, because I was trying to think 42.
Well, tough one, because he played in a time which, they weren't good. Chris Warren.
Well, where do you rank him all-time running backs for the Seahawks?
Chris Warren?
Yeah.
Ooh. Well,
is he top 10?
Oh yeah, for sure.
But not top 5.
No, I mean, you got Marshawn, you got Warner, you got Sean Alexander. Now I think about it, he might be top 5.
Well, you like John L. You put him in your top 5.
Huh? John L. Williams. Well, I got into it with Condotta when he did his top 50 list. He had John L. way down. I'm like, come on. Get him up. Get him way, way up. Yeah, he had him way down there. Well, listen, you sparked something in me, man, Sparky. I mean, that was a great article. That's why I pay $5 a month at JimMooreTheGoToGuy.substack.com.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Anybody can sign up whenever they want to. Yeah, I'm a little sheepish about asking for money, though. You don't seem to have a problem with it.
I do not. This is our livelihood.
Hey, so Puck's Posse. God, Puck's Posse left and right. Be a Puck's Posse member. I'm a Puck's Posse member.
Speaking of that, it's only cost you $5 a month to sign up at pucksports.com to become a Puck's Posse member, which gets you access to bonus shows like we do every single week. Ryan Divish Inside Pitch coming out later today as we get all the update on the winter meetings. KJ Arndt with Mitch Levy coming up tomorrow. Puck's Posse at pucksports.com. It's perfect.
Yeah. No, it's you offer all kinds of content. I give you a hard time about it because I'm trying to figure out what to do extra for paid subscribers versus free subscribers. And right now I'm just, I don't know.
Make like your Q&A free to everyone. And then maybe your Friday picks, or I think it comes out Saturday, or maybe a Friday one. But then on Tuesday through Thursday, it's the exclusive stuff. Give them some free stuff, but then
I'll get that figured out. God, my picks were awful this last week. My smoking lock of the week,
which was
I took Mississippi State. Because I figured that Lane Kiffin, with all the distractions going on, that the kids wouldn't be ready to play if they're Ole Miss. It was a rivalry game, the Egg Bowl. Sure. It was at Mississippi State, and Ole Miss won by 19 points. Mm-hmm. And then I doubled down by thinking the Vikings plus 11.5 were a good bet against the Seahawks.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that one did not end up well for you. It was not good. Yeah. That was not good. It didn't speaking of Lane Kiffin, didn't hurt him. They actually moved up in the rankings yesterday. These rankings, is anyone else out there? And again, I'll admit, and I've got no problem saying this, I'm not handy. I'm also not very smart. Just not a smart man.
Yeah, you are. I mean, you always sell yourself as not being smart, but you're smart enough, aren't you? That I had a girlfriend tell me that once.
That you're not smart?
No, she told me once, it was a girl previous to my current wife, and we were talking about intelligence level and that kind of thing. And, like so-and-so, one of her girlfriends didn't think the guy she was going out with was, all that bright or something like that. Mm-hmm. He wasn't smart enough. And I looked at her and I go, God, do you think I'm smart? And her answer was smart enough, as in, what? Smart enough to barely get over the bar for me to be with you right now, but at least she was genius honest. Level. Your Washington State education pales in comparison to my Washington education. Yeah,
smart. Think about it, but she was honest with you.
Yeah, she was honest, and then
you can appreciate
that.
God,
about a month or two later, she dumped my ass. So,
well, you weren't smart enough.
Yeah, for good reason. I wasn't the best boyfriend in the world.
So here's the deal. That surprises me, by the way. Here's what I'm going to get back to. What not smart enough. The college football playoff rankings and where teams are at. We can bitch and moan by all of it. It's you put people on a committee. This is what's going to happen. It's so effing confusing. Does anybody else find it confusing when you watch?
Yeah.
First of all, here's what I find confusing about it. I know how the system works, and I don't need to be educated on the Power Fives and in the Group of Five, the highest ranked conference champion. I get all that, but they unveil the top 12 rankings, right? And you think, all right, those are the 12 teams that are in the playoff. No, that's not actually the 12 teams in the playoff, because then you've got to go conference champions and then the Group of Five champions. I'm like, I watch it, and I don't really watch it every week, but I see highlights and then I read it, and I'm just like, there's got to be a better way to do this than releasing these 12, because it's not really the 12 teams that are in. And it's just, and then the whole explanation of it all is dumb. They just, the way they come out there and explain it to people and the reasoning behind it, like Vanderbilt yesterday. They get punished because they say, quote, they don't have any signature wins.
Well, they just beat Tennessee, didn't they?
Yeah, because Tennessee fell out of the top 25, right? That's because they beat them by 20. They were ranked 19th. So they don't give them credit for it. So I just think the whole process is just stupid. And it's so.
Well, I looked at the bracket.
Who are one conference?
Who are the two Group of Five teams that are most likely to get in? Are there two that are going to make it, or just one? And is it Tulane? Is it James Madison? Does North Texas have a shot?
Yes, the winner of the AAC championship, which is Tulane and North Texas. We saw North Texas, great team. I mean, first of all, how that quarterback, that Mestamaker guy, doesn't get any Heisman consideration is just everything that's wrong with college football. Oh, and spare me, he doesn't play anyone. Who cares? He's a Division I. He's playing.
He played our defense. Our defense that gave up 12 points a game in the last 8 games, and he burned us for 59.
If they're gonna be in the college football playoff, you can't tell me that kid who's the quarterback of the team can't be a Heisman Trophy candidate. He's a better passer of the football than any of the other quarterbacks mentioned. He's better than Pavia. He's better than the kid at Ohio State. You just watch him throw the football. The kid's amazing. He's
it's a great story too, isn't it? Because he didn't start for his high school team.
It's incredible.
And I'm really glad that North Texas has had such a good season. Same thing with James Madison. Two teams that beat us, and so it makes us look better.
So so that winner of that one's likely in where they can get a James Madison in. It all comes down to the ACC, because if Duke knocks off Virginia, Duke's not going to get in. They got 5 losses. So it opens the door for another one of those lower teams. We like to call them the Group of Five. So that's where if James Madison wins the Sun Belt Championship, which they will against Troy, they get in.
My pipe dream. You know what my pipe dream is that in the national championship game we see Ole Miss against Virginia. And then we as Cougs can say, you know what? We could if and but our way to a national championship because we came so close to beating both of those teams.
It's not a perfect system. I get where the power schools, the Blue Bloods, get a problem with like a North Texas, Tulane, James Madison. I'll say this. I think North Texas could play with some of these teams. I really do. I think the way they throw the football, the way they play offensively, it gives them a chance. James Madison, no. No way. James Madison gets in, they're going to get freaking stomped. They're going to get curb stomped. They just will. There was nothing about. I came away from that game, which the Cougs lost, going, that actually might be the worse than Oregon State. I thought. I know I'm being, I'm being a little, over dramatic there. I was trying to think of the right word, which I couldn't think of because I'm not smart. Yeah, I'm in negative, but James. I mean, there was nothing about James Madison where I was like, oh, that's one of the best teams in the country. Nothing. And I would be concerned if I was UCLA, by the way, with that head coach. I'd be buyer beware. I don't know. I just don't see it like the Kirk Cignetti, what he did and moving on to Indiana. I'm not sure.
Well, the thing with football, I mean, you look at it, and I would like to see it expand to 16 teams. And yet, when you think about the 16th team that makes it someday, will they really have a chance to beat an Ohio State? No. But in college basketball, at least, you can still have Cinderellas that make a good run and have a shot at winning it all. But in college football, you can't realistically think that's going to happen anymore.
I don't know what changes they could make. I mean, to the seating, to all of it. I have no idea what they can do to make it better. I have an idea, but I mean, it would be really expanding the playoffs. I do know this. They need to eliminate the neutral fields. There should only be one neutral field. It should be wherever the national championship game is. But the quarterfinals, like, think about this. If you're one of these 4 teams, if I understand this correctly, you're one of these 4 teams with a bye, you don't get to play at home. But if you don't get a bye, you get to play at home. Make that make sense to me. I mean, and you're asking fan bases to go on the road for the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and the championship game. Again, maybe there's people out there that have larger Substack and Puck's Posse memberships than we do that can afford that, but that's a lot of money to spend to go travel for 3 straight weeks to watch your favorite college football team. Let me throw this idea at you. Now, this probably never will happen to appease everyone. Like, there probably is going to be a time, and there's going to be a time pretty soon they'll eliminate the conference championships. Like, if Alabama loses this weekend and they get left out, they will eliminate the conference championship games. It will happen.
Well, maybe. Well, there's ESPN so much money involved, though.
But ESPN will start that whole propaganda, just like they've been doing the propaganda all week about Ole Miss, and Lane Kiffin and all that BS. By the way, connect all the dots. I did this on Twitter the other day. CAA, Creative Arts Agency, okay, they run all of college football. This guy named, I'm blanking on his name, Sexton, Jimmy Sexton. He's the leader of the CAA group, the agency, okay? It's an agent. It's an agency, okay? They have all the coaches, and they've got all the talking heads on college football, all of them. So when you hear Dan Orlovsky and Kirk Herbstreit and Reese Davis and Nick Saban and all these guys talking about the injustice that Ole Miss did to Lane Kiffin, who's a Jimmy Sexton agent, it's because they're all represented by the same agency, all of them. Rex Ryan, who came out, represented by CAA. It's propaganda, all of them. Here, how about this one? 24 teams. 24 teams. So you look at the 4 conferences that are the major ones, right? ACC, SEC, Big 10, Big 12. Let's just say, you just say that whoever finishes in the top 3 of each conference moves on. You got to finish in the top 3. That gives you 12. Then you look at the 2 other conferences outside of that. And most would conclude that the 2 best remaining conferences will be the AAC and the new Pac-12. So those 2, if you finish in the top 2 in both those conferences, you get to go. So that gives you the 16. Now you reward like the Sun Belt, Mountain West, MAC, and Conference USA. And yes, are these teams going to be great? No. You say if you win your conference, you get in. So that gets you to 20. And then you let this committee that's made up of all these old white guys who have been drinking since 8 a.m. get to decide the 4 other ones. Give them something to do. So they can pick 4 at-large teams. Get you to 24. Or you could go to 20 and then just go the 4 get a bye.
Yeah, there's going to be arguments no matter what you do, though, because if I'm following a Big Ten team or an SEC team and my team finishes, what'd you say, top 3 from that conference, go for sure?
Yeah.
But if my team finishes 4th in the SEC and you're going to take the second team from the new Pac-12, like I'd be going, well, who the hell did they play? And look at who we played.
The 4th team for the SEC this year would be you're right. I mean, it would be Texas A&M. I mean, the SEC is going to get 5 teams in.
Did they have Texas in this thing yesterday?
No, Texas is out.
Still on the outside outside looking in.
Texas is out. Miami's out. And poor Miami. I love this committee. So Notre Dame's in, Miami's out. They've got the identical records. Miami beat them in the first game of the year. And then they're like, no, not so much. Notre Dame's resume is better. They just recently both played Pitt. Miami beat Pitt by more than what Notre Dame did. But yet Notre Dame is in. It's clearly slanted to one conference. But people watch. People tune in. That's for sure.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to the championship games this weekend.
Of course, I am. I'm looking forward to all of it. It'll be fun.
You want to see if Indiana truly measures up, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I love Kurt Cinetti. I know people are getting tired of him, but I kind of like that he's kind of a shit talker and all of that.
I win, Google me. That's an all-time quote.
Let's, before you go, we've kept you a little bit longer than we normally do, and we got Rob Staton coming up here momentarily. I coach middle school basketball, and I'm not going to sit here and say that I know a lot about basketball. I clearly don't. I coach a JV, a junior varsity middle school basketball team. I enjoy it very much. I think we do a pretty good job at Whitman Middle School. Got a very good team this year. Tryouts start next week. Parents, make sure you sign your kids up. Get those physicals. I think we've got a very fun offense that we run. We preach defense. Spend a lot of time on defense, and ball handling. Okay? And I would just know that if Whitman was playing, let's say, Meany Middle School, which is one of our bigger rivals, and I kept substituting my best offensive player out, which, I would never do for offense for defense because I think it's stupid. I do know that when I get the ball back on offense and I have a timeout remaining, I would call a timeout to get said best offensive player back in the game because he's our best player. Yeah, David Riley is one step ahead of us, Jim, the basketball coach at Washington State, which he had that same scenario last night against Bradley, who's a terrible basketball team. No. He keeps shuffling Ace Glass in and out to do the offensive, defensive substitutions, which I think is so overblown. And I know in one of the possessions he got burned. He got burned bad. He didn't really, it was a screen too. And I don't think he got any help from anyone calling out what was happening behind him. But he's your best player. And the problem is, let's say the kid misses the shot. Now, all of a sudden, you don't have Ace Glass on the court on said missed shot. And the guy they bring in for him is not a good basketball player. If the guy they would bring in for Ace Glass on defense was really good, and I could see it right away, and all of us could see it, that this kid is a massive upgrade at defense than Ace Glass, then I would say, okay, but he's not. The kid they bring in has no business being on a Division I scholarship. He has one move and one move only. He's a left-hander, which I find funny. He dribbles down the right side of the baseline. He stops underneath the basket and then looks for someone to pass to. That's his go-to move. It's impressive because he's done it in every game this season. So they get a rebound last night, have a chance to, I think, tie the game.
Well, it was after the Bradley kid jammed it to go ahead by 2. And so the clock's still going, though.
Right?
Yeah.
But so he's got a chance to tie it or win it. He's got a timeout remaining. And he doesn't call it to get Ace Glass in the game, who had struggled in the beginning of the game, but in the second half late was the best player on the court.
He didn't touch the rim on 3 of his threes. He just hit net every time.
And I don't think was he even asked. I didn't. You know what? I'm going to apologize. I didn't read the game report if there was one. Was he asked about it? Because all I saw was a quote from Greg Woods, by the way, which it seemed like David Riley threw his team under the bus. And I'm like, you're the one who didn't call a timeout. Maybe you're the one to blame for the game. He said this to David Riley. He said, made no bones about the reason the guys lost tonight. I don't want to sound like a prima donna, but there is some wear and tear on them. And he also said in this post-game radio interview, this was probably a question from Craig Elo.
Coach. Any chance you thought about bringing in Ace Glass? You know, I mean, he red hot on the 3-point.
Craig, are you done yet? Can I answer the freaking question?
Yeah, go ahead. Chaz.
Chaz isn't here anymore. Craig, his name is Chris.
Okay.
I know he
How
looks
was
like
Craig
he's 12.
Elo retained?
Okay, well, that's it. We're not getting. You're off. You're getting.
How was he retained?
You're getting off the road here.
God,
he said in the post-game interview, we got to get our nervous system ready to fire right from the jump for 40 straight minutes, and we're still not there. We can't.
We
focus.
led 8-0.
And we have that desperation for 40 minutes that we need to win these games. Nowhere did I see a quote from David Riley explaining why he took his best player out of the game and didn't reinsert him. Is there a quote?
I thought he might have been hurt. I was asking my kids. I was like, what's going on? Is Ace hurt? Like, why wouldn't he be in? Yeah, you're right about that game, though. That Bradley team was favored by 7.5 last night. We should have won that thing outright. That Bradley team sucked. And we don't suck that bad. We really don't have that bad a team. And for us to lose that game, 20 turnovers, you're right about Morton. That kid's no good. The other kid that sucks, and I don't know how they're able to justify giving minutes to the Spain kid, Rodriguez.
Oh, he's just not good.
I'm like going, what has he done? Either. He must be sensational in practice. And,
he's
and
not
God
good
bless,
either.
Well, God bless Parker Garrett's. But, he's a try-hard kid that's not that good.
I'd rather see him out there, though.
Yeah.
I'd rather see Parker Garrett's play over the Spanish kid. Because that kid there's nothing he does. He doesn't look to shoot. He can't shoot. I don't think I've seen him make a shot.
He made one last night.
Oh, it's okay. That's it. I know many of you have tuned out, but I just had to get that. Jesus.
You think there's anybody out there going, God, I can't wait to listen to the Puck Sports podcast because I want to get his take on that Cougar Bradley game.
I know it's pathetic. I'm absolutely pathetic. It was, and I like David Riley, but that was coaching malpractice. And would it behoove them to maybe practice a little bit of defense, just a little bit, just a little. That's why I miss Kyle Smith. I mean, his offense at times would get a little stagnant, but you know what didn't? Their defense. Their defense was spot on. I mean, spot on. And this group is a little left to be desired.
I had something on us on the money line too. Like, what the hell? I actually thought the Cougs were going to win last night.
Yeah. And everyone shits on these ESPN Plus broadcasters, by the way. Because it's always the hometown guys. I thought those guys were good. The Bradley guys were good.
They were fine. They were fine. I think the whole broadcasts aren't bad at all. ESPN Plus. I thought maybe we'd get high school announcers, and those guys are good.
Well, they have, but these guys I thought were okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for us. I thought we covered a lot today. Good stuff. We got Rob Staton coming up.
Okay, Puck. Thanks for having me. Talk to you Friday.
We'll see you Friday. There he is.
Okay.
I cut him off to say, hold on. You didn't even
go Cougs.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. See you, bud.
See you. There he is, Jim Moore, with us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Again, brought to you by his army of sponsors, Brotherton Cadillac, also Angry Beaver, and Bright Owl Lighting. All right, real quick before I get to Rob Staton here momentarily, some of the shows that we have coming up this week or have had this week. Inside Pitch with Ryan Divish is coming out a little bit later today. The full show is just for Puck's Posse members. So if you want to watch or listen to it, sign up today at pucksports.com. We had a little bit of fun today. Next week are the winter meetings in Orlando. And it's fun because there is a certain uniform that all of the executives like to wear when they're in Orlando. Ryan Divish, Seattle Times, Inside Pitch.
What are the outfits of people that are there at the GM meetings?
So if you're an executive, you're wearing you're wearing the quarter zip. You're wearing a good quarter zip, usually with a team logo. Some of them have the Lulu quarter zip, some of them have Under Armour, whoever, Nike quarter zip. Then they're wearing the very, very dark jeans, usually by Lucky or by Calvin. I don't know, one of the stretchy ones, Lucky. I don't know what a lot of mid-50s white guys wear. I wear Lucky because I have a huge ass.
Yeah, right. Legs. We all know that.
Yeah.
Big ass.
So they wear the dark jeans, and then they wear the on-cloud running shoes usually. Now that's what the execs wear.
So there's Divish breaking down what the GMs are wearing. Now, we got into a lot of baseball. A lot of talk about trade targets. Donovan for St. Louis, Ketel Marte at second base. Would they make a move there? And initially, we got a good chat about the kind of why everything is so quiet right now there with Jorge Polanco. And again, the GM meetings start next week. Divish and Jude will be there for the Seattle Times. If you want to listen to the rest of how we got into where do they turn their attention next, Divish has got a good factoid on the budget for the Mariners going in here to this offseason. It may be different than what has been portrayed. Also, in addition to that, about where they're at right now with their options there at second base. Would they look to upgrade in right field? And they made a position change for a minor leaguer that will have some significance here probably in a couple years. Also this week, John Canzano, his Tuesday visits with us. John's one of the best. Really surprised. We should make that a Pucks Posse segment, honestly, with Canzano. It's too much good stuff in there for all of you freebies. I'm just joking. But Canzano this week, and we had him on to talk about JaMarcus Shephard getting hired there at Oregon State. The full show is available up on YouTube. We separate all of the interviews there up on YouTube. Also, it's a part of Tuesday's Daily Puck Drop on the podcast platforms on Apple and Spotify. But did they get the hire right with JaMarcus Shephard?
He's an energy guy. He also, got in that room with the hiring committee and did what he does when he's a terrific recruiter. He knocked it out of the park, so to speak. He was very well prepared. Interesting little thing here, Puck. He even reached out to me before he went into the interview, and I talked to him about a week before the interview, and he wanted to know all about the Pac-12. He wanted to know, all about Oregon State's leadership dynamic. But I am told by members of that committee that he went in and he was just fantastic in the interview. They obviously got him in that final interview situation, and his energy just infectious, and he ends up with the job despite having no prior head coaching experience. So I think, a big energy move for Oregon State, and people on campus, as they are getting to know him in the last 24 hours are coming back and telling me the same thing. They're all saying, look, we found somebody who is going to try to solve problems and not just talk about the problems. We found somebody who wants to be here, not somebody who's taking it as a fallback option. And not using it, certainly not using it just, to raise their profile as a sitting head coach. JaMarcus Shephard wanted this job, and I think that mattered to Oregon State.
And again, that full interview up on YouTube, if you want to watch it, up at Puck Sports there on YouTube to watch the full John Canzano. You can listen to it. It's part of Tuesday's Daily Puck Drop. Last piece of audio and video to share. Old Crimson is out this week. Myself, Jim Moore, and Paul Sorensen put the finishing touches on the regular season, and we spent a lot of time on this question. What was the success level? Was it a good season there for Jimmy Rogers in year one?
A great season. I'm typically negative. I think I'm probably known for that and glass half empty all the time. But I love the season this year. And I know we can if and but and say, God, I wish this had happened. I wish that had happened. But still, overall, 75 new players. We've been talking about it all year. The new coaching staff coming in, all these kids that I wasn't quite sure if. I thought it was cool that all these South Dakota State kids followed Rogers over to Pullman, but I wasn't sure if they'd measure up at this level of play, and they measured up and then some, especially defensively. So I've got no complaints at all. I look at when was the last time a team gave up 59 points on consecutive weeks and then managed in the next 8 games to hold their opponents to 12 points a game? It just doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. Usually when a team gives up 59 points one week, let alone 2, they're shitty, okay? It's a shitty defense. They're not talented enough and they have poor coaching. Well, we were talented enough and we had good coaching, and look what happened. And so for me, I'm excited about seeing a 13th game. I know it's a lower rung bowl game where we're playing. Nobody's going to be excited if we go to New Mexico, but I'm going to look forward to watching us again because I had a hell of a good time watching Cougar football this year.
Okay, Old Crimson is available now on YouTube. You can watch it. Also, Old Crimson, we put it up on the podcast platforms as well, Apple and Spotify from this week's show. We'll do another show once they find out what the bowl games are. We kind of get through National Letter of Intent Day and then the transfer portal. We'll get through them. All right, let's transition over to the NFL. A little later than normal on a Wednesday, but every Wednesday, we got to talk Seahawks football with the one and only. I get stopped all the time on the street. God, I love the guy from England that you have on talking Seahawks football. And I say, that's Rob Staton, by the way. And we love him too. He's a great guest. We love having him on every single Wednesday. Inside the Bloody Trenches with Rob Staton. It's all brought to you by Georgetown Brewery.
Drink Georgetown Tavern Beer, your new locally brewed domestic style lager. 4.2% alcohol. Cheap, good, local.
One of my favorite segments. It's Inside the Bloody Trenches with Rob Staton. SeahawksDraftBlog.com. You can follow Rob on social media at Rob Staton. YouTube page, Rob Staton Football. Oh, we got the Seahawks to talk about this week. Well, what else are we going to talk about, Rob? Their victory over the Vikings, good and bad. We'll get to the defense. So many great storylines coming out of the game. And overall this year for the Seahawks defense, I'm going to ask you a question. I've kind of been asking everybody this week about who the MVP on that defense is. Yes, we'll get to it, but it's down the list of things because I don't want to go right to the negative. We will get to Sam Darnold. We'll get to the offense, all of that coming up on the show today. Of course, Rob, always brought to you by Georgetown Brewery, makers of Manny's Pale Ale, Bodie's Offa, Rogers Pilsner, and their new Tavern Beer Tasting Room and Beer Garden open daily, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Visit them at georgetownbeer.com. Let's just start with the positives because you and me, we ooze positivity. Hey, that defense. I don't care who they faced, all right? No one should care. You shut somebody out in the NFL, that's damn good. And they just keep doing it. Every week there's just kind of something new. And there was a hiccup against Tennessee, Rob, and they responded in great form after what they would deem, and a lot of people would deem. I mean, I'm sure they were embarrassed by how they played against Tennessee. And they left no doubt how good they can be in that Vikings victory.
Well, they certainly got an assist, though, didn't they? Because the Vikings' offense was absolutely useless. And I think they could still be playing the game now. They could have just carried on playing from Sunday to today, and they probably still wouldn't have scored a point unless the Seahawks would have turned it over. So I do think that plays a big part in it. And I think the big takeaway from me from this game was that Vikings team has got a great defense. And last season, they won 14 games. Yep. And now they look like this because their offense cannot function. And what's the big difference between last year and this year? It's their quarterback, and he's now playing in Seattle. So I know there's been a bit of negativity about Sam Darnold, and I'm sure we'll get onto that. But I did think if I was a Vikings fan and I'm watching Brian Flores put that defense on the field against the Seahawks, and I'm thinking all you need is an average offense and you could be a heck of a team. Yeah. And they weren't. They were just awful. That said, you still have to capitalize. You still have to make the plays. You still have to keep Justin Jefferson quiet. They'll have come up with a plan for Max Brosman, I'm assuming. And whatever it was, it did not declare itself because they just threw him into the wolves and said, off you go, feast on that. And the Seahawks did. So they got me 30 points, fantasy football points in an important game. Oh, so very much appreciated to the Seahawks.
The important things, huh?
Yes,
the important things. Yeah. For a lot of people, they overhear that spread at 11.5 scared a lot of people away.
Well, did you have a double?
A lot of people had the Vikings plus the points. Not me. A lot of people did though. And you know what? They rewarded those who went Seahawks minus 11.5. They rewarded those people. And good for those.
Can I just mention that last week when we were talking to Jim? Yeah, we talked about the spread, and that I fancied the spread, and I also
he took the Vikings.
Oh well, I fancied the Seahawks and the spread, and then Oregon against Washington we talked about as well, and I said he should lump on Oregon, and they won by 12, and I think the spread was about 6.5. So.
Yeah, 6.5, 7.5. Yeah, I was the dipstick. I thought Washington. I did not bet on that game, but I would have taken Washington to the points, which was kind of close until the third down play. But yeah, the Seahawks got it. They helped everybody out. They helped themselves out with another win, Rob. They helped degenerate gamblers out there everywhere by covering that spread. All right, defensively, I'm going to ask you a question I've been asking everybody. And there's no right or wrong answer. I think there's differing opinions, and it's great. Who's the MVP of that defense?
Well, for me, it's Leonard Williams. And he's just been playing at such an extremely high level since he arrived in Seattle. In particular, these last 2 seasons, it's hard to imagine a defensive tackle playing better than him this season. I don't think he gets enough attention. I think PFF can just get in the C because they contribute to this. Because if they were really grading him properly, he would have a 80 to 90 grade. And we'd all be talking about him as a potential defensive player of the year candidate. He wouldn't win because Myles Garrett is going to win that if he doesn't play in any of the remaining games of the season. But he has been so consistently disruptive. And Mike McDonald has been saying it's not just how the plays that he makes, it's the attention that he takes to allow someone like Byron Murphy to be pushing on towards 10 sacks as well. So that is the Seahawks and Leonard Williams. It's one of John Schneider's best moves to bring him in.
Yeah, we've been begging for that, right? If you're a Seahawks fan forever, it's just it's why we call the show Inside the Bloody Trenches. Because I think you and I think alike just a lot of times when it comes to building, like having football teams. You got to win along the lines, the offensive line, defensive line. You got to win all of it. And you've been waiting for a guy that has been as disruptive as he's been, here in Seattle, there in Leonard Williams, and they just didn't have that guy for a long time. And it just makes life so much easier. When you can send pressure, you can rush 4 guys. You don't have to send everybody. You have to come up with exotic blitzes left and right. And you can have a guy, especially from the interior, that creates that type of havoc, because that's the closest way to get to the quarterback, right, is through the interior, not through the outside, although the outside guys always get paid way more. And I understand that. But he is – I can't take my eyes off him every game. I mean, there is another player that's starting to get my eyes off of Leonard Williams, but good thing they don't play on the same side of the ball, because I can't take my eyes off Anthony Bradford. We can get to him later, but that's for a whole different reason. But for Leonard Williams, he's phenomenal. The disruption that he causes almost on every play is helping everybody out, including, you just mentioned him, Brian Murphy. Brian Murphy's been playing great this year.
Yeah, just imagine how good it's going to look when Max Crosby's on this team as well.
You can't do that to me. You just can't do that to me. Okay, we've talked about this. Don't do that. Don't tease me. Don't tease me with Max Crosby.
Yeah.
I'll lose my mind. I'll run down the streets naked, and no one wants to see that, Rob. No one wants to see that. But yeah, I think I'm in agreement with you. I think everybody's kind of is answered the same way, has been Leonard Williams. And you're right, he does not get enough credit. Does not get enough credit for the job that he's doing. I think Mike Dugar pointed out to me on the Pro Bowl voting. If we care about the Pro Bowl voting, maybe people do or don't. But I still like the Pro Bowl voting. I think it's cool. It's a recognition. But he's being billed as a DN. He's a D tackle.
It's just that's the stupid.
That's dumb.
It's so stupid. Why?
So
he's gonna. And what this is how stupid it gets. He's the best interior player probably this season. Put him in the inside, the Pro Bowl, All Pro. He should get all of that stuff. I don't know what we have to do here, but it is the Pro Bowl is often just a popularity contest.
Yeah.
There'll be a player that gets in who is totally undeserving of getting in, but he is a big name, and that's the way it always goes. But Leonard Williams should be there. He's fantastic. He's outstanding. He is the kind of player that could lead you to a Super Bowl in the postseason with his performances. So it's great that he's in Seattle.
It's interesting. The GM this week, the GM of the Giants has talked this week kind of about their struggles as a team, as an organization. And pointed out, I think was asked this, but pointed out 2 players in particular that they missed because of the leadership they brought. One was Leonard Williams, the other being Julian Love.
Yeah.
We haven't seen Julian Love in some time, but I think that I think we don't even understand probably, Rob, and we shouldn't, because we're not there, we're not inside the building, of what he probably means to some younger players, Leonard Williams, on that team, and the impact that he's having off the field with those guys.
Well, you need some alphas, don't you, in a locker room? It's a grown man sport, and you need some guys who are just bigger, faster, stronger than everybody else. But you also need those players to have a certain attitude about them and a certain professionalism. And Leonard Williams oozes that. I think DeMarcus Lawrence does too. That's another reason why they've brought him in. I mean, when he stood at the podium and did his sort of final comments after the game the other day, expletive laden, which I always kind of enjoy because I am a child at heart. he had a bit of a Cam Chancellor about him. Like, there was that sort of look in his eye that was thinking, I've not been this intimidated by a Seahawks since Cam's interviews. So they've got a few of those guys, and it's something that they've set out to do. You know, there has been quite a big focus on character and personality. It's why, you know, I basically spent 3 months being told I was an idiot and worse because I didn't think they were going to draft Jalen Carter, and it was purely because of the character and the personality and the professionalism. And they are paying dividends now with the players that they've selected to create this core, and it's allowed them now to be a bit more flexible. Because Nick Emenwari, you know, the word on Nick Emenwari was that he was not exactly the easiest player to handle coming into the draft. They traded up for him. I don't think they would have done that 2 or 3 years ago, given the reset and the way they were thinking. But I now think they believe, because of the Williamses and the Lawrences and the Loves and the Cooper Kupps and the Sam Darnolds and the Devin Witherspoons and maybe 1 or 2 others, that they can now be a bit more flexible. And listen, I'm going to bring his name up again. The reason why I think they will be aggressive to go and potentially just dig around, see if they can bring Max Crosby to Seattle, is because he is cut from the exact same cloth. That's the kind of person they want in the building.
Don't like what you're doing to me. Just don't like it. What I don't like about it, I think it's an unfair game. You're getting my hopes up.
I am.
You're making me think about them, which causes me not to be able to sleep at night because I keep thinking of Max Crosby.
I'm getting my own hopes up as well.
Yeah, and now I'm going to spend, and now this would have to be the off season. So now all I'm going to think about now is Max frickin' Crosby all the time. You keep putting it in my head. Yeah, he's just had a phenomenal season. The defense as a whole has been great, and you know, we've talked about Murphy. I'll bring up the Pro Bowl voting again. I think it was Mike that told me. I think right now he's second, I think, among defensive tackles, and you know, those guys just generally don't get a lot of love because they're interior defensive linemen. You know, their job is not to necessarily get sacks. Their job is to clog up space, free it up for other guys to make plays. But it's just a great rotation right now up front, and it's what has led them to have such great success, I think, on this defense. I mean, think about all of the guys they've had injuries and the shuffling in and out of players in the secondary. Well, they can get away with a lot of that because of how well the guys up front have played.
It's an underrated position. And look, I don't want to harp on about, you know, the analytics stuff again. And you know, I was really annoyed this weekend in particular because I thought the broadcast was full of all of the worst things of that angle. That maybe
I was at the game, so who was on it?
It was Joe Davis and Greg Olsen.
Oh, so Mr. Analytics. Yeah, that's Olsen's game plan.
Well, I mean, look, you didn't hear this, Puck, but do you know that field goals won't win you games?
So he did that again because he did it the week before, didn't he?
Well, field goals are going to get you beat, apparently.
Yeah.
But he also said a few later on in the broadcast that you have to find multiple avenues to win. So there was obviously a contradiction there. And I also had a look at. I wrote a piece on this. I also had a look at the last season's Super Bowl champions actually kicked 3 field goals in their first playoff game, 3 field goals in their second, and 4 field goals in the Super Bowl. So maybe, just maybe, I don't know, maybe field goals don't necessarily get you beat.
Sometimes it's okay to take points. It's okay to take points. Nothing wrong with it.
Joe Davis, the announcer, complained that the Seahawks had only got 6 points on 2 drives, either side of halftime. He actually said, it's only 6 points from 2 drives. And I sat there and was thinking, when has that ever been an issue? Especially when you're 16-0 ahead. Like, if it was 6 points from 2 drives and they were losing 30 points to 6, I'd be like, yeah, you've got to go for the touchdowns.
Sure.
When you are 2 scores ahead, 6 points from 2 drives is, how did we get onto this? Like, I can't even remember what we were talking about.
There's always a time and place. I mean, I think you heard the crowd. I mean, I don't know what it was like on TV. I think towards the end of the game when they were going to line up for a field goal, there was a loud audible booing of it. It was 4th and short, 4th and 1, and they ended up going for it, which they should have. I'm glad he changed course on that one. But there's other times when I think they should, you know, take the 3. I think especially early on in games, that to me, I think early on in games, when you bypass field goals, even though whatever the chart tells you that they all have, everyone's got the same chart. Whatever that chart tells you, I like coming out of a first quarter just with something. Because if you don't get it and you have nothing, I think there's an emotional kind of letdown from that. No, you're not satisfied with only getting 3, and you could have had a touchdown, but when you come away with nothing, which sometimes happens, I think that has an impact on the offense, and then it has a direct correlation impact to the defense and to the other team. They just avoided something.
Well,
okay, they could have given up 3 and they did not.
Well, was there ever a more striking example of that than the pick 6 in this game?
Sure. There you go.
Max Brosmer gets into position. This is his first start in the NFL. He's an undrafted free agent rookie quarterback, Puck, and he gets them into position with the throw on 3rd down. It's 4th and 1. Kick the field goal. Let him run back to the sideline.
Feel
with
good
his
about
chest
himself.
out. Yeah. We're level. We've tied the game. We're okay. We're underway. This is it. I've got my feet under the table here. And Greg Olsen says this is what he said on the broadcast. There's absolutely no doubt they're going to go for it here. And I guess he was right, because there was no doubt they did go for it, and it ended horrifically. And from that point, instead of trotting back with his 3 points and the tie game, Max Brosmer is now staring at a 10-0 deficit. Yeah. He's thrown an interception. It's gone back for a touchdown. He's feeling miserable instead. These little things, the way that the Detroit Lions handled their game on Thanksgiving, I do not understand that. I don't understand what the Eagles did. Oh, go for 2 now, because then at least give it a rest. We are ruining the sport by overthinking this bollocks, and I've just had enough of it.
Hey, welcome. Now, you're not really into it, but you know a little bit. Welcome to baseball.
Yeah,
because this is what happened to baseball right here, and it's happening to the NFL. He's been a little bit more engaged of late. At least maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'm a prisoner of the moment because he had an interception in this last game, even though he got stripped of it. I feel like feels like Reek Willen's got a little bit more pep in his step here lately. Yeah. And I think the fact that they didn't trade him and they probably told him, hey, listen, we still believe in you. We need you. I don't know. Maybe it's given him a little extra bump.
I think he's played very well the last few games. There's not been any noticeable. When Reek Willen makes a mistake, he makes a mistake, doesn't he? Like he doesn't do that small errors. Like it's like
fairly obvious.
Shoot, yes. There's the error train is coming into the platform. Right, it's announcing now that Reek Willen's mistake is. And look, the fumble itself, as he was running back the return, I bet everybody was thinking, just get down, Reek. Just always fumble the football. You could just see it was going the way that he cut back inside, and you're like, oh, did that?
It's a former receiver, though. He's going back to his college days. Rob wanted to score.
Well, he anyway. He has played very, very well, and look, he had to, because it's a contract year. Like, the difference between playing the way he was in the first month of the season and playing the way he is now is millions of dollars. He's probably not going to be back with the Seahawks. I don't think Boya Mafe is either. They're probably going to be moving on in the offseason. There's a chance that Ken Walker will as well. But these 3 players, this is your opportunity. You can make yourselves a lot of money in these last few games and in the playoffs by helping the Seahawks go on a bit of a run here, maybe even winning a Super Bowl. That's how you will get paid the big bucks.
All right, they with their 26-0 win, with the Panthers taking out the Rams, they have something that's great. They control their own destiny. With how many? We got 5 games remaining. Yeah, 5 games. So they control their own destiny. The problem is it's a tough little run here. This is a tough finishing act here for Seattle. Not going to be tough this week. They got Atlanta. They're more than touchdown favorites in that game. And I know Indianapolis has kind of come back to us a little bit, but Indianapolis has played good football, and they'll be coming in, feeling confident. And then you got to go, you get the Rams at home on Thursday night, and then they finish on the road with, they're going to be doozies. Carolina, who just knocked off the Rams, and then the 49ers. Their finishing stretch is going to be a lot harder, certainly, than what the Rams have to finish with. Because the Rams, it's not a cakewalk for the Rams, but they get the Cardinals, I believe, twice. right? This week, and then they finish the season. Lions and Seahawks sandwiched in there, and then the Falcons the second to last game. So words cut out here for Seattle to get the job done.
Yeah, I mean, they should beat the Falcons. I'm saying that with the full knowledge that there's been a lot of upsets this season, and the Seahawks have not had theirs yet, and I'm a bit worried that will come. So they should beat. It's Kirk Cousins, Bijan Robinson's very good, Tyler Algiers very, very good as well, so that they've got a running attack, but Seattle's run defense has been exceptional all season, so you would hope that would be able to sort of stymie that. Drake London may or may not play, so he's a big deal for them. You would hope that however this game plays out, they'll find a way to get the job done. So there's that. With the Colts, they've lost Sauce Gardner. The quarterback's playing on a broken leg. Jonathan Taylor is outstanding and could end up being the MVP, but again, the run defense in Seattle has been good enough. You would hope that they would win that game, especially because, like you said, the Colts have kind of come back down to earth a little bit recently. And then it's the Rams, isn't it? And for me, this is what it all comes down to, Puck. I mean, I really want them to win the NFC West. I want them to win the number 1 seed. I want that bye week. I want to sit back and watch a weekend of playoff games, knowing that the Seahawks are already through, and just sort of wondering who they will face rather than having to worry about anything. I don't want them to end up in Lambeau, because that always goes badly in the playoffs. I do not want any way, shape, or form for this Seahawks team to be booking a trip to Wisconsin in January. I don't want that. So the way to avoid that is to win the NFC West and get the number 1 seed. And I just want them to be there. However, that said, I think the most important thing, more than anything else, please, can you just show that you can beat the Rams and the Niners? That's what doing so will put them where they need to be, I suspect, because of the other games. But can you please just win against the Rams and then preferably beat the Niners as well? If they can do that, especially with that final Niners game, if they haven't sewn everything up and they're not just resting everyone like the Rams did last year, if they can do that, I will be going into the playoffs full of confidence, whether they are the number 1 seed or the number 5 seed. That's all I need to see.
Okay. I've gone almost 20 minutes. We covered the defense.
Yeah.
We've thrown them bouquets.
Mm-hmm.
But we've got to get to the point now of the show that everyone is going to get, you're just kind of, you're kind of watching or listening to this with your fingers in your ears a little bit, kind of covering your face. We said and we agreed. It didn't matter what he did after in the games right after the Rams game for Darnold until he played him again, which is true. We suspected he'd be playing really well, but in the games since the LA Rams lost, he's not played well. He didn't really play well against Tennessee. He certainly didn't play well against the Vikings. Again, it's not all his fault. There's some issues with the offensive line. But Minnesota did some things probably defensively, and it's a good defense, number one. Did some things against JSN that I don't know if other teams can copy or try to do or what have you. But I think there is starting to get a little bit of a growing concern for how he's played, because in the last 3, he just hasn't been sharp right now. So it is, I think, for a lot of people get a little nervous time when it comes to Sam Darnold. You share those nerves.
Well, I shared the opinion that you raised after the Rams game, which was, do we trust Sam Darnold in a big game not to do that again? And my answer would be, I don't trust him. I need to see it happen. Now, I know people will say, well, he has played big games. He's won big games. He beat the Packers last season and was, given a shower of beer in the locker room afterwards, held aloft by his teammate. So he has won the big games. I accept that. But we need to see it with the Seahawks now. And because he had 4 interceptions against the Rams, that's a particularly bad performance. So we need to see it. I'm not as concerned. I mean, I saw Danny Kelly, who I respect a lot, but he called him like a rich man's Jameis with a slight tongue-in-cheek earlier when he was speaking to you at Puck. I think that's incredibly harsh, because the last time I checked, he's not. Jameis Winston has never won 23 games in 2 seasons, with still more to come.
It was a tongue firmly planted in cheek with it.
And I think the sort of the, like, he has dropped from, and I don't like PFF's grading. We've talked about that already. However, I do think he was the top graded quarterback for a large part of the season, and now he's the 7th highest graded quarterback, and that shows that he's regressed, and he's probably where he should be. He's not played better than Stafford and Drake May and some of those other players. So he's where he needs to be. The balance to that a little bit is if you look at the big time throws, which I do think are important, he's second only to Matt Stafford. Like Stafford and Darnold are like significantly ahead of everybody else. And in terms of, he's thrown a lot of interceptions. Some of them have been fluky. The Rams game was awful. Some of his other ones have been fluky. His turnover worthy plays, he's thrown one more than Drake May all season. So he's not that high on the list there. Like he's thrown 5 fewer than Baker Mayfield, for example. So I don't think there are massive issues. The Vikings defense is that was insanely good from them at the weekend, and they are brilliant. And Brian Flores may well be the best defensive coordinator in the NFL. And I think you have to take your hat off to them. And maybe the Falcons, who are the second heaviest blitzing defense in the league, second only to Minnesota, may find similar fortune this weekend. However, you ain't playing the Vikings again. You're not going to face Nick Bosa in San Francisco and Fred Warner. You are not really. I don't fear the Eagles if you come up against them down the line. There are a lot of easier defenses to play, and I do think that Darnold can be a very useful starting quarterback for the Seahawks. Not at a Mahomes level, not at an Allen level, not at a Burrow level, but Jalen Hurts won the Super Bowl last season, and I still believe that Sam Darnold can lead the Seahawks on a good playoff run. I'm not going to be that confident going into a big playoff game until I see him play very well in that setting, but I still believe in the guy.
Hey, are we going to get something from Rashid Shaheed? When is that going to happen? I was promised an impact, Rob. I was sent an email by the Seahawks. It said, hey, dear former season ticket holder, longtime fan, he's going to impact our football team. When is that going to happen? Yeah, 4 catches and 37 yards in 4 games.
Yeah.
When are we going to see that, huh? Can we dial that up maybe?
Yes, they should do. I don't understand. I have no explanation for it because he's played in Clint Kubiak's offense. It's not as if this is completely new to him and it's going to take him 6 weeks to get going. Torrey Horton's gone down with an injury, so it's not as if Torrey Horton's just too good that you have to feed him the ball. Jackson Smith-Njigba has obviously hoovered up a lot of targets and receptions, which is fair enough. But then, they found a way to get Cooper Kupp involved at the weekend. Like, he was far more involved. Like, when is it going to happen for Shaheed? Like, they keep trying to have him run a ball or take a screen, and he didn't do a very good job on the returns duty at the weekend. Like, he kept fair catching it, near his own goal line and stuff like that. I want to see more. Like, he did cost a 4th and 5th rounder. I have no problem with the trade compensation because the draft stinks. But I do want to see him actually doing something. Like, there's that meme of somebody poking a stick at something saying, do something. And that's kind of what I want from Shaheed. Can you please do something? Can they find a way to get him downfield and make a big play? Can he score a touchdown? Can he have more than, like you say, 1 catch for 10 yards in a game? Like, it's time to unleash Rashid Shaheed.
Yes.
Like, you have to do it. And they have said that, he said he's coming to Seattle to be here, and they've kind of said that, they're implying that they want him to be here beyond this season. You don't give away a 4th and a 5th for 10 games. So if they're going to pay this guy, you might want to use him.
Yeah. Throw the ball deep. Come on, Kubiak.
Yeah.
On the first play, I want to go deep against the Falcons. All right. There he is inside the bloody trenches with Rob Staton. Check out his YouTube page. He's got stuff up there all the time, after the game, before the game, during the week. A lot of great coverage up there on the YouTube page. Again, Rob Staton Football. It's a must follow. Must follow on social media as well, at Rob Staton. Check out the website, SeahawksDraftBlog.com. Got his thoughts up there on, obviously, the games, personnel, all that kind of stuff. Also, plenty of stuff up on the draft. And, of course, is the college football season winding down and then getting ready for the college football draft, the NFL draft coming up there in the spring. Thank you, Rob. Appreciate it as always, and we'll chat with you next week.
See ya.
There it is, another edition of Inside the Bloody Trenches with Rob Staton. As we mentioned there before, of course, a part of the Daily Puck Drop, the audio up on Apple and Spotify. And then we separate all our interviews on YouTube. So Rob's appearance will be up on the full Daily Puck Drop if you want to watch the whole thing. But if you're like, nah, I just want to catch Rob's appearance, that will be up later there on YouTube/Puck Sports. All right, it's a long show today. Jim and I went a little bit extra. That's okay. We were in a groove earlier today. We've got Hey What the Puck to wrap up the show, but before we get to Hey What the Puck, we've got to do on this day, December 3rd. We start off with, kind of a dark story. You've played his music many times. Maybe you watched the movie that came out last year, which, by the way, was a terrible movie about Bob Marley. It was really bad, but whatever. Still doesn't take away what a great musician Bob Marley was. But on this day, as they detailed, obviously, in the movie, and, of course, his life on this day in 1967 was the first assassination attempt there on Bob Marley. He was rehearsing at a concert in Jamaica. Obviously, was not successful. He would later lose his life to cancer. But one of the best musicians of all time, gone, taken from us way, way too early. Bob Marley, 1967. Someone tried to take him out on this day, December 3rd, 1967. December 3rd, 1997. God, I remember this story almost like it was yesterday because he'd never had ever really seen or heard this before of an athlete, certainly a professional athlete, doing this to a head coach. But the Golden State Warriors, on this day, December 3rd, terminate the contract for Latrell Sprewell, and his deal was 4 years, $32 million. Why? Well, he attacked and choked his head coach, PJ Carlesimo. He ended up being suspended in 68 games, and we'll get to that, why he was suspended 68 games, which is the second longest suspension in NBA history behind Ron Artest. What sparked the incident was, and PJ could be a tough coach. He was gruff and always has been, was always probably better suited for the college game than the NBA, but Latrell Sprewell was practicing and was hot dogging it and was being lazy in practice, as he had reportedly been a lot. And one of his passes was a lazy pass, and PJ barked at him, hey, put a little mustard on that next time. Well, that was it for Sprewell. He had enough of PJ Carlesimo. He went up, confronted him, snapped, and attacked him. Put his hands around Carlesimo's neck. Was there for about 7 to 10 seconds before coaches and players intervened and pulled him off. Ended up slapping him. There's a cut there on Carlesimo's face from the incident. It was not Sprewell's first incident. A couple of years prior to that, 1995, he was suspended by the organization for threatening his teammate, Jerome Kersey. In fact, they got into it. He brought a 2x4 to a practice one time to confront Kersey. It escalated even further where he told Jerome Kersey, I'm going to bring my gun and shoot you. Not good. Sprewell, so they end up, taking his contract, voiding his contract. Sprewell takes him to arbitration. The arbiter ends up ruling in the favor of Latrell Sprewell, saying, no, you can't just void his contract. So he gets his money. The league intervenes, steps in. That's when the league suspends him for 68 games. He'd go on to play 7 more seasons in the NBA. He was a good player, real good player. 5 seasons with the Knicks, and the last 2 there with the Timberwolves. All right, some happy birthdays to give out here on December 3rd. Happy birthday, rock and roll icon, passed away back in the summer. Ozzy Osbourne, born on this day, December 3rd, would have been 77, of course, known as the Prince of Darkness, but again, passed away back in July. Actor Brendan Fraser turns 57 today. Also, Montel Jordan turning 57 today. This Is How We Do It. One of the great music videos and songs there in the 90s. Montel Jordan, 57 today. And you're old enough like me, 49, you remember Napster. Some of you young people don't remember Napster. Napster was the original place to listen to music. You would pirate music and listen to it for free, which then led to Spotify and Apple and all of that because of what Sean Parker did by creating Napster. He is 46 today. Sean Parker would create Napster. It would go away because of all the music copyrights. It was a good thing. He also became the first president of Facebook, did Sean Parker, turning 46 today. That's all that happened on this day, December 3rd. We wrap up the show with Hey, What the Puck, brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle, your restoration company lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, and mold damage with their property restoration services. They're locally owned and operated. Give them a call. They're going to take care of you. And then you can reach out to them online as well at restoration1.com, the North Seattle franchise. Back to the college football, the playoff rankings. There's going to be no perfect system. What they have right now, you thought it would, by expanding the college football playoffs, would help. It's not. It's bringing more confusion. And it's really just coming down to these two conferences, the SEC and the Big Ten, forcing their way in to have all of their teams in. It's not good for college football. I think anybody with the right mind knows this isn't good for college football. Also, I see the other side of it. Some of these bigger programs, when you let in like a James Madison or a Tulane or a North Texas, are those teams legitimately going to have a shot in these games? Probably not. And would a more deserving team like a Texas or somebody like that be better served playing in these games? Well, yeah, because the fields are tilted so much in their favor because of the money and all that. But there's got to be a better system that's got to be in place for this to move forward. There just has to be. And I've raged against this committee for years. We all have. It's dumb. There's no way that people that are associated with schools who then are associated with conferences should ever be on this committee. I guess you would say, well, let's get the media in there. But the media is compromised. We see it. The propaganda machine is out so much this week. So we detailed it with Jim. But CAA, which is an agency that deals with college sports, is being run from the college division for coaches by a guy named Jimmy Sexton. Well, Jimmy Sexton and CAA represent almost every top coach in America, all of them. And then he also represents a lot of the people that you see on television talking about college football. And probably the one program you watch the most is Game Day and ESPN, because again, they're the giant. Reese Davis, Kirk Herbstreit, Desmond Howard, Nick Saban, Dan Orlovsky on the NFL side, but now has wandered into college football. Interesting, right? Doesn't talk about it all year, but now is. And Rex Ryan never talks about college football, but now is, because he's represented. They're all represented by the same agency. And so it's not fair. There is no, impartial reporting or commentary on this. None of it, because it's all propaganda. The biggest topic right now is, why can't Penn State hire a football coach? Well, we'll tell you why. Because Jimmy Sexton, James Franklin was the coach. His client didn't like how it ended. Jimmy Sexton has all the top coaches in America. Jimmy Sexton's the reason why Penn State can't hire a head coach, because he's blocking them from hiring a head coach. This isn't Penn State's, they're idiots. They don't know what they're doing. Okay, you could criticize them for firing James Franklin, fine. Maybe they shouldn't have, but they made the choice. But now they can't hire a coach because an agent is standing in the way. This is what happens in anything, sports, non-sports, media, whatever. When you give too much power to one group, this is the result of it. And they've got to clean up the sport. It's crazy because the ratings and the interest in the sport are through the roof. Through the roof. But it's broken. It's really, really broken. That's Hey, What the Puck, brought to you by Restoration One. They're going to help you with all your issues, any type of damage to your commercial or personal property, whatever it is, water, fire, mold, any damage. From step one all the way through, they're going to see it through and help you out. And they're great. They're great at what they do. Restoration1.com, the North Seattle franchise. That wraps it up for a lengthy show here on Wednesday. Thank you to all our sponsors. Without your support, Limback Lumber couldn't do the show without your support. Thank you. Also, Flat Stick Pub, your continued support throughout the year. Georgetown Brewery, big thanks to Georgetown Brewery. Restoration One, thank you for your support. Thank you to the support of Brotherton Cadillac, Angry Beaver. They're in Greenwood. Check them out. a great sports bar there in Greenwood, and also Bright Owl Lighting and Clean Streak. Big thanks to Brian Turner, who provides you with their support to bring you Jim Moore, the go-to guy, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. All right. Today's Daily Puck Drop in its entirety, you can find it up on YouTube. You may be a viewer, but maybe you're not a subscriber. Nothing bad's going to happen. You're not going to get any emails or spam, but please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're not a subscriber yet. Also, when you're there, hit the like button, leave a comment, try to get to as many as we can. And also, you can find the Daily Puck Drop on all your favorite podcast platforms. Doesn't matter which one, Apple and Spotify, the two biggest ones. When you're there, if you have a second or two or three or four or five, please write a review and rate the show. Rate it with 5 stars if you like it, if you think it's worthy of it. It helps us move up the charts and all that kind of stuff. And that would be much appreciative here from myself. Also, you can find everything up at pucksports.com, including signing up to become a Pucks Posse member. It supports all the free content we do here daily. It's a one-man show over here at Puck Sports, so it supports that. Plus, we give you bonus shows every single week, and we're going to be adding to the shows. Last week's Sports Pit is out with myself, Matt Stretch Johnson, and Steve Sandmeyer. Ryan Divish, Inside Pitch, looking ahead to the winter meetings. That is out right now in its entirety. We put up about 6-minute video up on YouTube just to kind of tease you a little bit. But if you're not a member, the only way to watch or listen to the full Ryan Divish show is to become a Pucks Posse member. Another episode of KJ Arns with Mitch Levy coming out tomorrow there for Pucks Posse members. Okay, that's it for us. We bid you adieu here on this Wednesday, December 3rd. We'll talk to you tomorrow on Thursday's show. Another episode with Mitch Levy, KJ Arns. Plus, we get Mike Garofolo there from the NFL Network. We'll talk to you tomorrow. As always, we promise to be better.
No shoes, no ties.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you. But you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for? We'd like to send out a mail.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!